Megan, I can't hear you.
I can now. I couldn't earlier. His mic's off.
How about now?
Yes.
There we go. That was me. Sorry,
Yes,
guys.
that is much better. Thank you.
I don't know what we do without him.
All right, so we do have some members participating electronically. Sounds like they can hear us now. So we can go ahead and get started with the meeting.
All right, I will bring the meeting to order. Nickel Plate Review Committee, March 23rd, 2022. First item of business is the oath of office for Rich Block.
Yes, and Rich was sent the oath of office electronically, and so he will be signing that and returning. We welcome him to the board and glad to have you on here.
I did just return it. Thank you.
Welcome, Rich. We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
And roll call will be next.
Ms. Stoller.
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Nieves.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
And welcome back. Ms. Bowman.
Here.
And Mr. Block.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item of business will be elections of the president and vice president of the Nickel Plate Review Committee. We'll take any motion for the role of vice president.
I'll make a motion for Eugene Johnson to be vice president.
I will second. And we will vote. Okay.
Ms. Stoller.
Aye.
Ms. Nieves.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Bowman.
Aye.
Mr. Block.
Aye.
Thank you.
And our next office will be president of the Nickel Plate Review Committee. I will accept a motion.
Move to approve Emily Bowman as president of the Nickel Plate Review Committee.
Can you get a second?
I second.
Again, we'll roll call. Ms. Stoller.
Aye.
Ms. Nieves.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Bowman.
Aye.
And Mr. Block.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next up, we will approve the minutes for December 15th, 2021 Nickel Plate Review Committee meeting. Can I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
So moved.
All right, and roll call.
Ms. Stoller.
Aye.
Ms. Nieves.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Bowman.
Aye.
Mr. Block.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, approved. First up on the docket tonight is case number NPR-22-1, Hotel Nickel Plate preview. And we have Megan to present tonight.
Yes, so I will be presenting on behalf of Ross Hillary, who has been the project manager for this development, but happy to answer any questions that you guys have. So this is for a new hotel to be called Hotel Nickel Plate. The subject site is located south of 116th Street, east of the Nickel Plate Trail, and north of South Street. So you can see here identified in blue on this aerial, the Nickel Plate Trail runs diagonal just to the west of this site. Here is the First Internet Bank building and parking garage just south of that. So just to place you a bit, City Hall is located north of here where we're at currently. So A&F Engineering on behalf of Browning Investments is the petitioner on this. This is for a 5-story, 75,000 square foot hotel with 116 rooms. This is located in the downtown core district of the Nickel Plate district, and the acres is about half an acre in size. So I'm going to run through the site plan and some of the elevations. So here's the proposed site plan. This is a very basic site plan. You can see here the Nickel Plate Trail. One exciting feature of this project is there will be a public plaza That is a city project that will be, the area will be dedicated as a part of this, and that is going to be called the Legacy Plaza. So that'll connect directly to the Nickel Plate Trail where it goes under, where the tunnel is going to go under 116th Street. So you can see here, the hotel does face the Nickel Plate Trail, and then there is sidewalks wrapping it that is going to be heavily focused on pedestrian activity. Just to the east of this site is an internal breezeway where directly east of that is the First Internet Bank building and then the existing parking garage. In the parking garage is going to be where patrons do park as associated with this project. Here are the elevations. I'll run through these quickly and I'll let the petitioners go into a little bit more details about the site materials. But I will show you the pretty pictures. So here are the colored renderings. This is if you were in that internal breezeway looking at the entrance to the hotel. So this would be looking south. And then here's a rendering of what that would look like during the nighttime. Here's a rendering also looking south, but from a different angle. So you can see here the Legacy Plaza. And then this, here this fencing is showing the Nickel Plate Trail as it leads under 116th Street. And then here's another rendering of that in the nighttime. There are a few waivers that are being requested as a part of this project. So they are seeking a waiver for the building height. So the Nickel Plate Code currently allows for 4 stories at a maximum 60 feet, and this building is proposed at 5 stories, 68 feet. Staff is comfortable with this, especially with the proximity to the First Internet Bank, which will be taller than this building. And then some minor waivers are also requested. That's not required to be approved by you all. That can be approved administratively by staff, but I'm just pointing them out here. There's some waivers for the front setback and then also the side setback. Again, staff doesn't have any concerns with that. So this is a preview item for tonight. So it has not gone through the entire TAC process, but we wanted to bring before you guys. We have been working with them. We first started conversations about 2 years ago. It was put on hold because of COVID, and now they're back, ready to get this approved, which is very exciting. If the committee is comfortable with approving the project as presented tonight, you are more than welcome to do so. This would be on the condition that all staff comments are addressed before final approval is given. So we do recommend approval with the waivers requested, and I will go ahead and turn it back over to the petitioners to give some more detailed information on the project.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to come in tonight. My name is Adam Chavers with Browning. I'm here on behalf of Browning and Dora Hotels, our partner on this project. I'm joined by Kelly Tabling and Mandy Melendez, and then also Mark Erickson from CSO, our architect. So thank you very much for your time. Thanks very much, Megan, for that intro. Very thorough review. I just wanted to point out just a couple things. Megan mentioned we were working on this in late 2019 and early 2020, and it came to a complete halt, as you can imagine. But I think maybe bigger picture than that, when you go back to the beginning of the assemblage of what was happening in the Nickel Plate District 4, this would be the third of 3 projects that Browning's had an engagement with. It's great to finally be at this stage and sort of the last project. There was a point in time when we thought we might be delivering this project at the same time we were constructing the First Internet Bank building, the parking garage. I can't imagine how that would have actually worked out successfully given the postage stamp size site that we have. But we are, in an urban sort of district like this, delivering these cool projects in very tight spaces is kind of what makes the whole thing tick. And so I can with those renderings, you can kind of picture what this feels like. We have a very tight site, and so that's left us, it's kind of made us focus, and we have a lot of we call sort of fixed points all around us. But it's been very cool because it's been very clarifying from a design perspective. So I want to point out here on site plan. At the north end here, closest to 116th Street, that's where we'll have our kind of food and beverage, a bar. You can see that on the rendering. Very publicly accessible ground floor active space, full service restaurant serving the project, which will be a Hilton branded hotel. And then obviously sort of back of house at the southern end of the site, closer to South Street. Room floors above that, obviously. We love the fact that the Nickel Plate Trail is right there. We've got access at both the north and the south end of our site. As Megan mentioned, our patrons, both hotel residents, hotel guests, as well as restaurant and bar guests, will be parking in the parking garage. There's a great, very well thought out declaration for access, public parking, hotel parking, First Internet Bank parking, obviously. So that shared parking notion is we're definitely taking advantage of that. I'm going to skip over the elevations and call up Mark Erickson from CSO to kind of talk a little bit about our building materials, I think better shown with the renderings.
Thank you very much. As Adam mentioned, my name is Mark Erickson with CSO Architects. I'm the project manager on this particular project, and we've taken this project from where it started 2 years ago and developed it further, refined it further, and came up with really a spectacular looking exterior skin for this hotel that will really complement and contrast the downtown area. We are using a combination of black brick along with a limestone colored stone accents, which are the horizontal bandings that you see at the various floor levels and right above the canopy. And Adam's got a sample of that material that we are using. And what's made this very easy for me is it's such a simple palette. We have the black brick, we have the cast stone, we've picked up industrial cues from the First Internet Bank and other industrial designs throughout the area. It looks like it could have been a historic building built a number of years ago, a very decorative entry canopy. And then, although, how do I get to the next view? No? Oh, this one? Okay. There we go. And then we also have the decorative entrance canopy at the very north end, which you'll see from 116th Street. And that'll be the focus of the north end of the building where the restaurants and the outdoor dining occurs. The blade sign that's on the corner will be very obvious from the pedestrian trail as well as 116th Street to identify this hotel and the restaurant. So it should be very easy, and it should be a landmark as you're getting into the downtown Fishers area. One of the really neat features that we've got in the lower end is the restaurant. And in discussing this with Kelly, Mandy, and Tim Dora, it's going to be a pretty spectacular restaurant and an even more spectacular bar area. We've got the doors that will open up to the outside, weather permitting, of course. That'll serve outdoor seating. The fire pit out there, which is a feature for both hotel guests and the public. And it opens up the whole building to the public, which will make a very nice feature for this end. Pedestrians walking back and forth or riding can easily access it. We've got bike racks on the site for those who are using their bicycles. So I think with this, it'll be a very unique building at this site in this corner of Fishers. So with the black brick, obviously, we've got the materials, the cast stone, which is the buff limestone, and all the other accents are basically going to be a dark bronze material.
I would like to thank you so much. You have more. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to open it up to the committee for questions. Anybody have any questions or commentary at this point?
I think my only question is,
I have a few questions. But go ahead with those that are present in the building first.
oh, go ahead, no worries.
Go ahead, Selena, you go ahead.
Okay. My first question is on the landscaping along 116th Street. With the setback there, will we be able to continue that landscaping that is kind of, in front of First Internet? That'll kind of come down, at the end of this building, I'm assuming?
You're referring to like this corner right here?
Selena, this is Megan. So that area is going to be a part of the public plaza, and so we are working on a transition for that. It won't match exactly the streetscape that's in front of First Internet Bank just because it can't with the tunnel being underneath, but we are looking at that transition.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure is that we're doing some type of transition. There's some type of landscaping along 116th Street there. And then did I understand that the courtyard in the center of this building is going to be open to 116th Street, to the trail, to the public? How is that? How does the public access that?
If we use this end as a
Right there.
a presentation, these will be large doors that will be manually opened from the inside that will open up the interior patio dining and the restaurant and bar area to the exterior seating that'll be out here. And again, this is seasonal, of course.
Okay.
And the doors will fold open. We're talking about large format doors, 10 feet high, 12 feet wide. So it's a large door opening. And this whole area just opens wide up into that plaza area.
Okay.
So to kind of clarify what I think Selena might, part of Selena's question is, the outdoor seating there by the restaurant will be for the restaurant only, and it won't be for public access. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Eugene, I think.
Thank you. I think that's all the questions I had.
I think the only question I had is, in terms of the hotel entrance, is that a one-way or two-way? Is that?
The interior drive is a two-way drive. Let me go back to the site plan here. Yeah, this is a two-way drive. The hotel guests there's a little bit of a cutout here, so kind of like a slip lane to kind of pull up and. Oh, I see. There's underneath the entrance canopy that's along the interior drive, there's a cutoff lane there, so hotel guests will be able to pull off of the interior drive and kind of stack up there, kind of like what you might see in downtown Chicago or Indianapolis. Front of the Conrad is a pretty good example of that. So, yes, there'll be full access from South Street and 116th Street at both ends.
And to provide some clarification on the traffic pattern, so cars will enter, let's say, from 116th Street, drive down, and what Adam was talking about is this area right here is the pull-in for the hotel.
I can't hear you, Megan.
So the pull-in for the hotel is located on the east side of the building, and then cars will enter the garage through the south, and then they'll exit the parking garage to the north when they're ready to leave. But it is two-way traffic, and they can also exit and enter on South Street.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that kind of to tack
Okay.
onto that, that's a pretty tight space there, I'm assuming, right? I mean, it's going to be a pretty narrow two-way area. And obviously we're on 116th Street. That's going to be pretty busy. And I know this is probably more of a TAC and engineering and that kind of like traffic situation. But I mean, will we be able to be turning left out of there from, like, if I'm heading north on I'm coming out of the parking garage and I'm heading north towards 116th Street, is there going to be a left turn option? Is it going to be right turn only? I'm a little, it's tight, there's a lot of traffic there, and there's a light right after the trail. I'm just kind of trying to figure out how this traffic situation looks. And I know that, again, that may not be our committee's purview, but I definitely think that that's a question that I have about it.
Yeah, certainly a valid point. Adam, I haven't been a part of these conversations with engineering. Have they said that that's going to be a only a right out?
They've not indicated to us that that left-hand turn there would be restricted, but I think that's a good point. There could be a lot of waiting for left-hand turns to happen there. So that's a good question. That was probably addressed in the First Internet Bank project, as that breezeway is its own separate parcel. So I can't answer your question specifically.
Okay.
I'll have to confirm
I was gonna
with
say, I just think
engineering.
I would like
So-
to encourage some, I mean, I know that you guys think about this, but I just want to
And then
bring
also-
that up because it's a big problem in a lot of other areas along and coming out of places. And we're talking about a decent amount of traffic potentially coming in and out of there. I almost would encourage a one-way in, one-way out type situation, but not my role. So,
Well,
yep, go ahead.
So, Megan, I want to dovetail on this just a little bit. And that is, currently I've seen traffic on 116th Street, in this area, whether it's, the ice cream shop, whether it's First Internet Bank, you get several cars wanting to turn left on 116th Street. It can really create a backup with just 2 or 3 cars wanting to turn left. My concern is when this hotel has a wedding that has, 300 people attending it, that we're going to end up issues with almost a gridlock on 116th Street. So my question that I'd like to send over to the TAC committee is, how do we address that issue?
Yeah, and I don't want to speak for the engineering department. I'm going to be surprised if they are going to allow a left turn out of there, but again, I would just want to confirm with them before making that final determination. I will say that with the Nickel Plate Station and the First Internet Bank and this Nickel Plate Hotel, Hotel Nickel Plate, I'm sorry, we've had a lot of coordination over the last 2 years, and engineering has been heavily involved in all of those conversations. So I apologize, I don't have the answer tonight, but yes, I agree that we'll look into that and get you guys some
And Selena,
answers.
one of the things you didn't hear from being online is that there is no meeting space at this hotel. It is just a hotel and a restaurant. So I did want to make sure you heard that. So it's not a wedding space. It's not a venue.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also, if I can add,
Okay, it's nothing like that. But still, I have the concern, not just of people turning left out, but people turning left to get in. I mean, I don't want to restrict, the business by allowing, right access only, but we do have an issue with people turning left on 116th Street. And as we continue to build out this area, I think that those left turns, on 116th Street, people on 116th trying to turn left into a business is causing backups. How do we mitigate that situation?
Agreed.
And again, that goes back to the TAC committee. And just, Megan, if you could get a little bit of clarification on that for us, I would appreciate it.
Yep, will do.
and I would say just coming east and west, because I think coming east, turning in, is there gonna be some type of bump out, turn lane, coming off 116th Street? Because that could be,
Can't hear.
if people are turning.
I can't hear. No.
Is your mic turned on,
Yeah.
Jamie?
That's
Okay.
I would just say, just look at east and west as far as turning into the, that alleyway.
Yeah, I agree. I think just an encouragement to have significant conversations that have clearly already happened, but continue to make sure that we're having all of the conversations to ensure that we are not, or that we're providing easy access in and out with the least amount of risk. I think that that's significant to the city and our constituents. So
Yeah, I agree. I just think it's gonna,
That's
it's
my
a beautiful
biggest concern.
project, and especially it's gonna bring a lot of pedestrian traffic downtown just to enjoy the trail and enjoy the, the monument and stairs. And so just making sure we mitigate any risks of pedestrian injuries. But I think that our engineering department will get that worked on, and the project looks beautiful. I'm excited about what's gonna happen.
Wonderful, thank you, so are we.
Rich, do you
Can I-
have anything you'd like to add here?
I do. I apologize. Hello, Adam. This is Rich Block, and my compliments to you for your design.
Thank you.
I have a couple of maybe questions and brief comments, because again, I'm very impressed by the materials selected, the colors. I think it's going to be a very handsome building. So I think it'll blend in really well with what's going on there. First of all, is it flagged a particular brand of Hilton, and will it go by that name, or is it always going to remain the Hotel Nickel Plate?
Great question. So the soft brand of Hilton is that we're going for is called Tapestry, and so that allows you a high degree of flexibility with design, as well as sort of branding and visioning and sort of market placement. And so we've settled on Hotel Nickel Plate as the name of the hotel. We'll certainly have the Hilton reservation system, the Hilton standards for operating, but it will, by all outward appearances, be a sort of a bespoke boutique hotel, about 116 rooms.
Awesome. So if I might maybe ask you to go back to the renderings, the color renderings, because part of my comments related to what I think Selena was asking. And, you know, on that north entrance, if you don't mind going to that north elevation, it doesn't appear like there's a real demarcation between where the outdoor seating might be for the restaurant and, you know, what would be public space. Maybe you guys have plans for some sort of either landscape, ornamental, you know, planters or, you know, ornamental railing. I see a railing along the trail, but, you know, I think the idea that I think Selena was, you know, trying to get at is, you know, while there may be something along 116th Street, I think something there that is done tastefully is probably in the best interest of both you guys and then the public. So I think it can just enhance the appearance of what is going to be seen from 116th Street with some type of additions out in that patio. I'll leave that to you. The other comment would be at that north entry, it looks like there's a smaller canopy there that, you know, protrudes from the building.
Correct.
Am I looking at that right?
Yes.
Okay. You know, again, I can't tell what it looks like, you know, in its entirety, but anything that can be done to, you know, create that prominence along 116th Street, I think will be helpful. I was also going to add, it's hard for me to see exterior lighting on the building, but because, I mean, it is such a handsome building, whether it's, you know, wall-mounted lighting or maybe even better yet, okay, yeah, that's great. Some type of, so is there intended to be like landscape lighting or sidewalk lighting, uplighting that will really, in the nighttime, make it visually, it's hard for me to, it looks like it's kind of downlighting from some of the canopy, but something that really shows what the exterior is like in the nighttime, I think will be very helpful. So I can see
yes, Rich. I think you're right. We do have downlighting on the underside of the canopy, so we want to be careful that we don't create sort of a dark space right up against the building at the pedestrian level. And then we've replaced certain pin lighting, as you can see, sort of around up lighting that runs the entire length of the building and is also on the front as well. So and of course yeah, I'm going to let Mark Erickson speak to that as well.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, is there a way to zoom in on this, or is this the fixed image?
Is the uplighting coming from the canopy?
No.
Is that what I'm looking at?
It is.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, okay, that was easy. Oh, control, okay. I know it may be a little difficult to see from where you are, but there are small pencil beam lights that are surface mounted to the face of the building. If you look closely, you can kind of see like a slight brown image right about there.
Yes.
Those lights in actuality are about 5 inches around and about 6 inches long, and they mount on a bracket tight against the wall to form that beam that goes vertically up the pier of the building and highlights just these column features.
Perfect. No, that's great. Yeah, I didn't appreciate that when I saw the elevation. No, I think that's going to be very, very helpful. Very nice. And that's also on the north elevation too, Mark, all around?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. I think I just have one thing I would just like to throw out there, discuss, see if anybody has any opinions on this. Obviously, the south elevation is maybe a secondary, is secondary to the 116th Street elevation, but I do believe that there's still growth to be had within this area, and I wonder a little bit as to whether there's a way to kind of bring some of that canopy into, I know that's probably more of a back end or staff entrance or something, but let's say down the road that becomes a more looked at side of the building than the rest of them. I'd love to see 4 sides in this building in particular, and I know that's something I brought up before, and who knows where we're gonna go with all that, right? So that's just a thought, a comment.
Certainly, and I think if you just look at the elevation, I think it kind of hides the fact that we have. I'm going to go to the site plan here. It's tough not to be able to show with a pointer. Can you see that now? Okay, great. All right, I was just using the wrong screen. Okay. So we will have actually we have to have the surface entrance. We'll have our dumpster enclosure here. There's actually a fair amount of equipment. There's a transformer or switchgear sitting here that's also kind of runs a pump, which is part of the drainage system for the Nickel Plate Trail. And so we'll have our truck and delivery access coming here as well. So there's a fair amount of what the elevation won't show you is that it's kind of hidden with different pieces of equipment that are, you bring up a very good point, right? It's like in a downtown urban setting, like there's no back door, but there still has to be a back door.
Right, of course.
Yeah. So
what is the screening for the equipment that you, in that area? What is the screening between the equipment and the streetway? There's a sidewalk, is that correct, along there? Is there any screening between the sidewalk and the equipment, or is it currently not screened?
I'm not sure. The equipment I'm referencing is a part of the Nickel Plate Trail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not building equipment, so that would
Correct.
be...
Yep, it's a part of the city project associated with the tunnel.
Okay.
I'm not sure,
But the
I'm not
dumpster
sure
would
what
be
that
hotel
screening looks-
dumpster, right?
yep, and that'll be required to be screened per the Nickel Plate code.
Okay.
Any of the hotel equipment, which would be the dumpster and the generator, are enclosed within actually you might be able to see it.
I would say, I don't feel like I saw a south elevation.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, if you can see this little tiny box down here at the bottom,
Yeah.
that's the dumpster enclosure. It's
Okay.
8 feet tall. It's black brick with the same cast stone cap.
Same black brick. Okay.
Same black brick. The generator's in the back. And of course, you'll need access from the front for taking the dumpster out. So we do have gates that will be visible from the breezeway. But on all the other sides of the building, it's the black brick that matches the hotel. And it's taller than any of the equipment that's in there, so you won't see any of the equipment.
Okay. That was my question. Thank you. Any further questions from the committee at this point?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Real quick, before we make any motions, I would like to make sure that we do make our motions contingent upon, I've got a little bit of verbiage here that we should probably add to make sure we're within our element here, that we do make motions contingent upon staff comments must be addressed and resolved within the departments of planning and zoning, engineering, public works, and fire. So If you do have a motion, I would like to make sure that we include that into the motion, please.
And I'll also add that a major waiver was requested, and so with the approval, if you guys are comfortable making the motion to approve, not only as presented today, but with that major waiver for the building height.
Yes, okay.
Okay, I make a motion to approve with a waiver for the building height, as well as a motion to approve to continue to work with staff on issues that have been brought up today.
Second.
All right, roll.
Ms. Stoller,
Aye.
Ms. Nieves,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Ms. Bowman,
Aye.
and Mr. Block.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, does the city have anything further? Megan, I think you have a presentation you'd like to present today? Oh, and I'm sorry, motion approved.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Yes, so I just wanted to, I know it's the Nickel Plate Review Committee's first meeting tonight, and so the Plan Commission did approve updated rules and procedures earlier this year, and so I just wanted to give you all an overview of that. And a lot of this might be repeat information that you're aware of, but really just some basics on the Nickel Plate Review Committee. So the Nickel Plate Review Committee is a subcommittee of Plan Commission that is similar to our Plat Committee, PUD Committee, and Technical Advisory Committee. So any of the rules and procedures that were approved as a part of Plan Commission does apply to you all. I did just want to highlight that the purview of this board is really to review projects within the Nickel Plate District Code. And that code is a little bit different than our other zoning ordinances in that it's a form-based code. So in a traditional zoning code, we regulate uses, density, setbacks, parking requirements. And the Nickel Plate Review Code is more of a form-based code. So it is a quasi-form-based, I will say, but it really is more, our standards are written to address the relationship between the buildings and the public realm. And that's because this is more of an urban environment, a denser environment than what we see in other areas of Fishers. So I just wanted to highlight the unique nature of the Nickel Plate District. Also, with that, it is broken up into 4 sections. So the project we reviewed tonight is in this downtown core. That's where we've seen a lot of development happening. So most of the projects that you all have approved have been in this blue area, the downtown core. We also have the municipal center, which is where we're at today. That's where most of the government buildings are located. And then we have this neighborhood center surrounding it in orange, and then the highway center. So that's where Target's located and more of that suburban development that we see in the downtown district. So the responsibilities of the Nickel Plate Review Committee, first and foremost, it's just to review applications for architectural design and landscaping for projects located within our downtown Nickel Plate District. With that, you are able to approve major waivers for developments. These are specifically called out within the Nickel Plate Code, and staff will always highlight those specifics within our staff report. So that's a great resource for you all to really reference if this development is one, requesting any waivers, but really we also provide a list of the areas where the Nickel Plate Code is being met or it's not being met. So most of the waivers that you see are going to be for dimensional standards, so that's going to be for setbacks, design standards or building materials, that's on architecture, sign placement, you also have the ability to approve a creative sign package, the amount of parking, the building height, and an alternative landscaping plan. So there are parameters with each one of these requirements. Let's say you can't approve a building height at 150 feet, but you can approve it like we saw tonight, which was about, I think it was 5 feet over what was allowed. And then minor waivers, I just wanted to highlight, there are minor waivers that are also called out within the Nickel Plate Code, and that can be administratively approved by staff, but we'll always highlight these in our staff report as well. With the updated rules and procedures that Plan Commission adopted earlier this year, we have a new electronic participation policy, and I will say you guys are the first board to use that policy tonight. So I'm glad that we were able to get that set up. So with COVID and the emergency orders that the governor adopted, that emergency order has ended, but the state has allowed us in non-emergency times to still have an electronic participation policy. So we've adopted that exactly as state statute allows. So there are some parameters with this. So at least 50% of the members must be physically present. So we've got that tonight. 3 members are present, and we've got 2 participating online. You cannot participate in more than 2 meetings in a row electronically. So Rich and Selena, if you guys participate electronically next meeting, you will have to be in person the following month. And then you cannot participate in more than 50% of meetings in a calendar year electronically. So our department is tracking that for you guys, but just know that a majority of the meetings in that year do need to be in person. If you guys have any questions about that, please let me know. And if you ever have a question, oh, can I participate electronically this month? Just shoot me an email or Kay beforehand and we can get you squared away. Taking action, I think this is gonna be just something that you guys already know, but you have 4 options. So you can approve as presented, you can approve with conditions as you did tonight, you can make recommendations and continue the item to next month. I do have here that decisions must be made within 90 days of an application being received, and you can grant a one-time 45-day extension. And then, of course, you can also deny the petition. So those are the options as members of the committee for each one of these developments. And then I also just want to highlight conflicts of interest. So if there's ever an item that comes before you all that you don't feel you can be impartial to, it is required that you excuse yourself from voting on that matter. So that's just a brief overview. Do you guys have any questions for me at this point?
Just want to say, can we get a copy of that presentation sent, please?
Certainly. Yep.
Thank you. Really great job.
All right, anything further tonight? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All right, adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Selena.